Is up? Kevin Hale here. Let's see, there's again. I need a fucking producer on the background. All right, there you go. Kevin Hale here on this Sunday night, October 2nd, already into the 10th month of the year. October 2nd, 2022. Round of shots streaming on our YouTube and Twitter pages. Hope everyone has had a great weekend. Taking sports out of the equation, should be good weekend here in Louisville. The weather has been phenomenal. 70s, low 70s, getting down into the 50s at night. Hoodie weather, loving it. Um, Such is life. And then for all you people who are, I gotta ask the panel. I'm gonna get them on too because it's this time of the year when people, besides football, college, pro, they talk about Halloween. And I'm a Halloween fan because I got grandkids and stuff, but all the Halloween things that come along, with the holiday, the spices, the everything. But here we are. I can bitch and moan. I tried to bitch and moan yesterday with one of my panelists, and I failed. He put me in my place. My intentions were good, but then he threw a small technicality at me. But tonight, roundtable, we'll be talking predominantly Kentucky football, recapping Old Miss, the good, bad, and the ugly, previewing South Carolina, takeaways from the college football weekend 5. I got to get everybody's take on Tua, Dolphins, the NFL, how that all played out this past week. It was an ugly scene. It was actually not ugly. It was sickening. I literally got sick to my stomach watching that. Tonight, Terry Brown, Carrie Lewis, JD Hall, Van Hiles will be joining us soon. Welcome, my people, my beautiful people who usually don't say no to me on a Sunday night, and I appreciate you all. Terry, how are you? Troublemaker.
Doing fantastic. Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Always. Carrie Lewis and your news. What's up, Skulls?
Yeah, we're going. We're rolling.
You got the X over your shoulder. You got Spooky on your.
Got the Spooky Molder shirt on. Yeah, rock and roll over here for October.
One of the greatest shows ever.
Absolutely.
JD Hall, what are you rapping tonight? What's underneath your chin?
I'm always wearing Kentucky.
Yeah,
that's what I'm always repping. So
good to see you all as usual. Always good to hang out and do our thing. And Terry's, it's not a green screen. It's legit. The cornfields are not a green screen. It's legit.
I love it. Got all my media credentials, and I'm.
We are. I was gonna say almost. Well, no, yeah, we're over. 24 hours away. It was a noon game. Mm-hmm. Here's the shitty thing that I had to deal with. I have Sling TV. I have the orange package.
Dude, switch to YouTube TV, man.
Well, YouTube TV is what I have. The only thing I miss with YouTube TV is Bally Sports. So if I want to watch a Guardians baseball game, I can't do that.
Gotcha. Well, it's a cost thing. I definitely checked out YouTube, or I'm gonna have to, because with my Sling package and my the add-on sports package, that it's like all the ESPN channels, it's like $45 a month. For me, it's perfect. But at 11:50 yesterday, as I'm turning on the TV, I'm thinking, wait a minute, what am I seeing here? Because usually my package doesn't. The Sling package, not my package, doesn't include sports, Fox Sports shows. Terry, stop shaking your head. And I was seeing all these Fox Sports stations. I'm like, what is this? And then I went, and at the top of the Sling, the guide, it made the announcement about them not coming up with an agreement with Disney. It's like, oh man, so what can I do? So I wound up going over to my daughters and watching over there. But anyways, Ole Miss We were underdogs going into the game. But after the game, I think it's fair to say, Terry, who the better team was. But the better team didn't win. That was the proverbial, to me, we lost, they didn't win. What say you? Your summation.
Yeah, I mean, if your takeaway is Kentucky isn't a good football team, then we didn't watch the same game, right? Like that's my whole thing. So the people that the same old Kentucky crowd, anytime something negative happens, well, same old Kentucky. It's not. It's a lazy take, and I'm not talking about the media folks. I'm talking about folks within the fan base. Like, here we go again. And I had a conversation with somebody, and it's like, when they were down, had that really rough first half, and you say, well, I don't know if they can come back. And I said, why would you think that? Well, you remember back in 1990, and I'm like, to me, the Florida game was more indicative of what this team could do. The bowl game is more indicative of what this team can do than going back to the 1990s. Right. I saw a team that, despite making numerous mistakes, which I'm sure we'll go over, they had a chance to win. And to me, that's a step forward as a program. I don't see that as a step back. My biggest hope is we will get to the point where every win, every loss stops being a referendum on what Stoops is doing. It can be just a game. Does this mean momentum has stopped? Does this mean momentum has come forward? Sometimes a game is a game. Like, there's nothing more you can glean from that. Like, damn, we lost that game. And you move on. There's no referendum on the coaching staff, the recruiting philosophy. It's just a game. So that was my takeaway. It was like, oh, man, that sucked. It was a sucky way to lose, but we still had a chance to win.
Did we? We did. Not did we with the question mark. Did we with the exclamation. JD, summation from yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I was as frustrated and pissed off as anybody watching that game yesterday. But to see the reaction of a portion of the fan base saying it was a step back because you went on the road to a top 15 team and lost by 3 in a game that you didn't play your best was, I mean, it was ridiculous to see. Could they have won the game? Absolutely. Should they have won the game? Absolutely. Are there mistakes that they shouldn't have made that came down and turned that game and gave that game to Mississippi State? Absolutely. But shit happens on the road.
Ole Miss. You said Mississippi State.
Did I say Mississippi State?
Yeah.
Whatever. If we go on the road to Mississippi State, we played like shit last year too. So it must just be
it's all the same in Mississippi.
Right. So but to say it's the same old Kentucky or they're taking a step back because you go on the road, look what Georgia did yesterday at Missouri. Does that mean Georgia took a step back because they played like crap against Missouri and almost lost that game? Mm-hmm. Right. It's stuff happens on the road. And to what they can't do is let that game yesterday, where you were, in my opinion, the better team on the field, turn into 2 losses or 3 losses and let that loss hang over the team.
Exactly. No, it's great take. Carrie, going to you. Your summation from yesterday.
You know what? Yeah, we should have probably won that game. We left 5 points on the field. It is what it is. There were some questionable calls, which I hate, blaming the refs for losing, but there were a few, at least 2 questionable calls in my mind that could have been, helped us out anyway. But the bottom line is we lost. And if you want to say this team took a step back or whatever, same old Kentucky football, were you really a Kentucky football fan to begin with? And just get off my football lawn, because I'm in it to win it. I'm here for this team. I have seen some bad football in my time, and I ain't leaving. And we in it. We're gonna win more games. We going to a bowl game. I don't care. We're probably still gonna win 7, 8, 9 games. We got 10 games in us, I think. And you know what? Screw you. Get off my football lawn. Just go away. Get out of here. If you don't like it, if you're already off the wagon for this one loss, There was a bad loss. That we had some bad calls and some bad breaks. Just get out of here. I'm done with you.
Someone who's acknowledged being on some of those bad teams in the past, and our man Van, welcome. Good to see you. Get all that out of the way. Always a pleasure to hang with you. We're just summarizing yesterday before we get into the good and bad stuff. But your summary from yesterday.
Why you put me on after Carrie just preached?
Well, it's because you just showed up, and then she gave me the nice segue about living and being part of all those bad teams in the past.
Damn,
and you've acknowledged it too. So let's go with the flow.
Damn, it's a hard one to follow. Look, this is the way I look at it. Before the season started, I said we're gonna win 10 games. If you would tell me when I said we're gonna win 10 games that we'll be 6-1 potentially at the bye week, I'm like, we're right on schedule.
Yeah.
If anyone would have, if you were a fan who was preaching 12-0, but besides Jay Hayes, I'm like, you smoking meth, because I know meth is real good in Kentucky, so I'm gonna do meth.
Hey now.
So,
you're stereotyping here, but
you're right. I'm wrong. So you lose a game that everybody had. If we can go 1-1 out of Florida and Ole Miss, perfection. If we go 2-0, that is off the charts. So the bad part about it to me is that we are good enough to win a game, but that's also the good part.
Right.
And sometimes football guys just don't want you to win. For whatever reason, if you look at that game, we had three.
So the football gods have favorites? Is that what you're saying?
No, I just think sometimes it's just not in your cards. Because for me, each program have to go through steps. If we beat Ole Miss, there's a chance for us to really go 11-1 and to skip the 10-game process.
Not only that, after we saw what Georgia did yesterday, Jay Hayes might be Nostradamus after all.
I mean, look here. So my summary: each game is week to week. Don't ever say because Missouri gave Georgia a game that, oh my God, anybody can beat them.
I know.
It's week to week.
Right.
What happened to Ole Miss to me is what I love is that we went down 14-0. Most Kentucky teams will crap down a leg, and that 14-0 we get to 17-0, to 24-0, to 24-3, to on and on and on. We got some dudes on this team. We went 14-0 to 14-7 before the quarter ended, which was crazy. So for me, the summary is that we are there. We just made some mistakes. We were inside the red zone basically 3 times and came away with, I think, 3 points.
Yeah. I mean, Carrie she said that, she mentioned that we had left 5 points off the table. I mean, arguably you can say out of at least one of those possessions where the Dane key touchdown where Levis was called for I guess it was Levis, or was it?
It was illegal motion.
It was
on Levis, though.
It was on Levis.
It's really on Levis.
Right.
But here's the deal. If you make the PAT just one of them, or you make the field goal, we win the game.
Right.
You don't even get the 5 points. Just one of those 3 instances on special teams.
Yeah.
1-1 or the 3, we win the game. That's why I said it wasn't meant for us, because our field goal team has been pretty decent this year. Ruffalo's kicked a couple 50-yarders in the midst, to me, a chip shot.
Well, it wasn't. He got blocked. It was blocked.
No, the field goal. The field goal was what, 38 yards?
39 yards?
Yeah, something like
from
that.
Yesterday.
Yeah, he missed the field goal.
You're right. Yeah, it was the extra point got blocked. That's right.
Yeah.
My bad. Okay. Well, let's do. There was good yesterday. Terry, I turn it over to you. Give me your good.
They didn't give up. Just like Van said, just like anybody watching that game, if you've watched Kentucky football for 25, 30 years, as everybody on Twitter has, then you have seen teams where one bad play becomes 2, becomes 3, and now it's a 28-0 hole. This team never gave up. Even with the first fumble, got the ball back with a chance to win. You know, that play to Barry and Brown was I'm jumping out of my seat like, I can't believe we have a shot. I know what happened, you know, after that, but at some point we have got to, as a fan base, we have got to leave what happened in the 80s, 90s, 2000s behind. We have to. You know, I was explaining to someone on Twitter yesterday, like, look, I've been married before. I am married again. I cannot sit here and talk to my new wife about what the old wife did. That won't work. That's not how you move forward. We have a great relationship with a great coach. It is not fair to put on him and to put on these young men the bluegrass miracle or whatever victory or loss you want to point to. This isn't that. Right. When they were down when, you know, closing the gap at the half, look at all the points we left behind. I'm like, we're still in this. We can come back and win. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, why don't you think that? Well, you remember at Tennessee back in 2010, who gives a shit? I'm talking about this team went to Florida, played like ass in the first half, got back in it in the second half, right? This team was down, needed to score a touchdown, have a defensive stand in the Citrus Bowl. Those games are more indicative of what this team is.
And what this program is.
What this program is. You got to stop looking at the past for that hurt and then saying, same old Kentucky. It is not the same old Kentucky. It isn't. That's what irks me. This team had a chance to win.
All right. Well, that was supposed to be something good, but you know, you're irked.
But the good thing is they kept fighting.
They did.
Everybody on Twitter gives the fuck up, and these kids, Will Levis walks to the line of scrimmage. I got this, and these people make plays. They believe, and I believe in them. I'm like Carrie Lewis. Get off my lawn. I'm here to root these guys on.
Same. JD, the good from yesterday.
Barry and Brown. Like we know how explosive he is from the kickoff return that he took to the house already. He almost had 2 kickoff returns in this game, or was it just the one?
Yeah, one.
But either way, like, you know, if Lavelle Wright doesn't get tangled up with his feet, that's a touchdown.
I even damn it, that's another. I forgot that one.
The wide receiver screen that Van pointed out and highlighted today. You know, he gets his feet get tripped up a little bit. Yeah. That's a tutty. You know, so
we wound up scoring though. Didn't we score a touchdown on that? No, we didn't. Van, you're shaking your head.
Was that the one that he missed the field goal?
Which one?
On the wide receiver screen.
No. I'm going back to Barry and Brown, who when he had the touchdown, the kickoff, and he got tripped up by his own guy. Did we wind up scoring on that possession?
I don't think so. We had 2. The first one where he got inside the 10-yard line or inside the 15.
That one we scored. We scored.
Yeah.
So we left 5 Dane Keys touchdown and that.
Right.
We potentially
potentially win this game by 2 TDs. Easy.
2 at least.
And
2 points at least.
The one where he got down inside the 15 on the 85-yard return.
Yeah.
The defender's finger got caught in his jersey. That's what allowed him to make the tackle. Not because he got a good grab on it. It caught inside of his jersey, his sleeve, and that's what made you know, and then he put us in the position to win the game at the end on another screen. Like the kid he makes plays, and just get the ball to Barry and Brown in space and let him go out there and make plays for you.
It's I mean, him, Key, those kids, it's amazing. And I'm looking at Corey Price, who I think wound up going to the game. I think couldn't be with us tonight, but I'm on his Twitter because he's always got all these freaking stats. Brown set new Kentucky records today for the most kickoff return yards, 164. And most all-purpose yards, 245 by a freshman in a single game. My goodness,
ridiculous! Like what we're seeing from the skill position players at Kentucky right now is it's on a different level than we've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm. And Carrie, I don't know if this is your good, but I got to say it because JD just said skill position. Thumbs up to Chris Rodriguez's return.
I was going
gonna
there.
say? All right, my bad.
You
Continue.
beat me to it.
Go,
But
go.
I was gonna say good. We were in it despite some leaving 5 points on the field in terms of special teams, and I will say two very questionable calls. Could be three, but definitely two in my mind. And
What was
the
the
fact
two?
that
I know the targeting, but what's the other one?
the targeting and the touchback thing that should have been a touchback, which actually should have put us on 25, but we ended up starting on the 2, and I think that
Good goal line.
right. I think that actually ended up as a safety. But anyway, the bottom line is two questionable calls in my mind. We were still in it to win it, which is, I love that. But yes, C-Rod and Van will tell you, I think, practicing ain't playing, right? I mean, practicing ain't playing. And for C-Rod to come in and to churn those legs and to look super fresh and to just no rust, in my opinion, I was afraid he was going to have a little bit of rust, but no rust whatsoever. Right. So I'll take that as a good.
You know, Van, you're asking why you're following Carrie. She's setting you up. She just threw your name out there. But yeah, Rodriguez, let's just stay with him real quick. 19 carries. Was that about right for him yesterday? Or could he have done more, you think?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you saw him gassed a couple of times. They went to the sidelines. They was feeding him water. He was gassed. And for people to say, why wasn't Rodriguez in on this dude? He was gassed. I'm pretty sure of this. He had more carries in one game than Smoke or LaBelle Wright has had in any other previous games.
Yeah.
By themselves. So, dude, it's hard to explain, but the adrenaline actually hurts you more than it helps you. It actually gets you more fatigue quicker. Mm-hmm. So in practice, he can go through all the freaking scout teams. He can run as many rocky hills. He can do as many in his barefoot, walking in man-made snow, and all that stuff is not going to help you until you get game reps. There's nothing like game reps. Plus, the guys on the other side of the field are trying to tear your head off. So that's a little bit extra energy that you're going to have to withstand. So, that was for him to carry 19 times for his first game was pretty amazing because I'm sure he was so amped up. That first series, man, those first 2 snaps, he was gassed. I promise you, because just all the hype and energy that you just wasting from just excitement.
Right.
But
go ahead. You're good. Yeah.
My good is this. We gave up 6 points as a defense
in the second half
quarter.
Or after first quarter. That's a good point.
Everybody was, I seen it on Twitter. Oh my God, defense is terrible. Oh my God, why are we not prepared? Oh my God, why not this? We gave a really 2 big plays that set up touchdowns. One was a touchdown, one was a long pass because of us. And some of it because of the coaches. But because of that unit, we gave up 2 big plays. Other than that, we shut their ass down the rest of the game. They scored 3 points after halftime.
Good offensive team.
Under 400 yards.
Yes.
For the whole game.
Right.
That's on the road after giving up 2 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. That's one of the goods for me.
I mean, the defense as a whole, Terry, has been arguably really good all season.
Yeah, and if you've got skill position players that can make big plays, and you've got a defense that can play locked down on the road in the second half of an SEC game, you're going to be in a lot of games. And so, again, this notion of, well, we're not looking great. Like I told you, Kevin, yesterday, you need to watch more college football.
Told me.
Not just the highlight packages, not just,
because you know what, blur. Florida, I fell in love with Florida based on a ESPN highlight reel. And we'll talk about Florida later, but yeah, to your point.
But my point is, winning on the road in the SEC isn't easy. Like, for whatever reason, we think Alabama goes into everybody. I mean, they did against Arkansas, but there are games where things don't work, and you like Georgia at Missouri, you just have to gut it out. And that it's not pretty. You're not going to pass for 300 yards. You're not going to have 100 yards rusher. You just got to figure out a way to win. And that's what we did. But the defensive side, that's going to win a lot of games. Absolutely. The defense is legit.
JD, what else good from yesterday?
For as much hate as they've gotten all year, the offensive line played really well yesterday. They gave Levis plenty of time to throw the ball. They opened up holes for the running backs. Was there a couple of breakdowns? Yeah, there's always breakdowns in every game for every team. But for what we've seen from them throughout the season, they're getting better.
Yeah.
They're all I think this is the second game that they've had the same 5 starters together.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So now you've got some continuity there. The communication seemed to be better. They seem to get more push. So we're seeing an improvement in what was our biggest weakness throughout the beginning of the season.
Fair.
And as they continue to improve, the offense is going to get better and it's going to get more consistent. And pair that with the defense that we've seen all year, and the ceiling's still up there for this team.
It's very high. There's still a lot of room, Carrie, for this team to continue to grow. What else good was?
Good. You know what? I'll say good for Kentucky fans for showing out down there in Oxford.
That's a good.
There's nowhere to stay in Oxford. I've been to Oxford. It's about that big. It's teeny tiny. We stayed in Tupelo and drove in when I went to Oxford. But yeah, they were in the corners. You could see them with the stripe out thing, on the TV. But yeah, props. I would say the good is Kentucky fans actually going to Oxford and making the trip because again,
is that about 6 hours? How far is that?
Yeah, it's a little probably more than 6 hours, probably 8 hours. Because when we went, we actually stayed in Florence and then drove the rest of the way.
Well, I was thinking 6 from Lexington. Maybe. All right.
Maybe a little more. Either way, there's nowhere to stay in Oxford, the bottom line. So props to the Kentucky fans. And I think that was a good thing that tons of Kentucky fans showed out down there.
Would you like to segue to Van right now, Carrie? You're on a streak. What do you want to pull Van's chain to respond to?
I don't. Did you ever play down in Oxford?
No, but I have.
That's a great question.
A story about Oxford, though.
Okay,
that will
there you
blow
go.
Your mind. This will blow your mind. I went on a recruiting visit to Oxford for a spring football game. You're gonna say I'm lying. You're gonna say the young kids are gonna say I'm capping, but I'm telling you this is the truth. Archie Manning and them old ass guys were playing in full pads for a spring game. I think they played a quarter. They might have played a half. Dude, old ass men. I'm telling you.
Why were they playing?
Huh?
I think I've seen like video of this happening. Yeah, it's crazy.
It was bonkers. I'm like, are you serious? Archie Manning had to be in his late 40s?
I guess why were they playing is what I'm asking.
It was just part of the spring. It was just part of the exhibition.
It was just an alumni game.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
But alumni game using flag football. These dudes, they were in full pads. My dad and I looked at each other because we saw them go out, right? It was like, are they really gonna play though? And I was telling you, they played. I'm not saying it was like nose knockers, not knocker hits, but I'm just saying for them old guys to dress up and play in pads and tackle each other, it was the wildest thing I've ever seen. But
stay with me for a second. What made you say no to Ole Miss?
Oh, Ole Miss saw me as a tweener.
Oh.
They wanted me as a quarterback, but I was 5'9" at that time. And the whole thing about it, see, this is the one thing Coach Carrie was smart. And I don't know why anybody else didn't really pick up on this. My senior year of football, I was 16 when the season started. I didn't make 17 until November. Just like in college, I didn't make 18 until after the season was almost over.
Damn.
So I had a growth spurt.
Got it.
They didn't see it, but my dad is 6'2", my mom is 5'9". Ding, ding, ding. I think he's gonna be taller than 5'8.5", but they didn't see it. So they didn't know where to put me. They was like, do you want to play wide receiver? I'm like, no, either I'm gonna be a quarterback or a DB. Those are my only two options. And they
so at 16, according to Terry, you were still taller than JD.
Yeah,
you motherfucker.
I'm just the messenger.
No, but if JD wore some Air Force Ones, he would be about my height. So it evens out.
Give me some Nelly. There you go.
Maybe
yeah. Is it tweener at? We're adulting here tonight.
My other good is we had an Isaiah Brock Bowers coming sighting. That jet sweep for a tight end jet sweep, we've only seen with Brock Bowers. Mm-hmm. I've never seen it until he ran it.
Got it.
And we got 23, 25 yards with Brock Bowers Jr.
Worked a lot better for Kentucky yesterday than it did for Cleveland today.
Oh, Cleveland tried it?
They tried it with David Njoku. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it lost about 8 yards.
You can't run that shit in NFL.
No.
You can't. No. All right, let's keep it going. Time to talk the bad. What was the bad for you, Terry? I know you're glass half full guy, but give me something bad.
I'm not glass half full. I'm not the world's always falling apart either. I think that's a difference. I get painted a lot that, you're a sunshine guy. I'm like, no, I'm not crazy, unrealistic, jump off the damn roof guy.
Yeah, no.
I'm objective guy. Objectively, Levis has got to get the clock in his head's got to be better. That's just the basic. The offensive line was better, but he's not going to get 3 seconds. Like the clock has got to be moving a whole lot faster, and that's what we saw. I don't fault him for the end of the game. That getting in the air, should he have jumped? But that's trying to make a play. Mm-hmm. But the fumble, you've got to get the ball's got to come out. Yeah. And we can talk about the offensive line. We can talk about where the receivers need to be or the running backs need. Your quarterback has to get rid of the ball at some point. The clock's got to be there, and if he wants to hear his name get called in the draft, the clock's got to get better.
Let's stay with that because to me that's if there is a bad for me, I do have to put it on Levis and that his clock management in his head. Van is a former player. This has been Will Levis. That's just been his thing, since day one. Why are we still? I mean, as a fan, I can't understand it from a player perspective because you're right there. But isn't that fair to say that that's been the knock on Levis since game one of last year?
He is the Ben Roethlisberger of college football. Ben loves to hold the ball too. The only difference between him and Ben is Ben knows how to slide in the pocket. Mm. If Levis wants to hold the ball that long, you have to help your guys out.
Right.
His ability to slide in the pocket, he does it. Last week, the pass to Dane Key, he moved in the pocket. He felt the pressure. He shifted left, eyes downfield, made a great throw. On the touchdown play to Tavian Robinson, he slid in the pocket to the left, bought him some time, put it on him, touchdown. His inconsistency of pocket awareness, of ability to slide. He's a better athlete than Tom Brady. How many times do you see Tom Brady get sacked like he is? Tom Brady can move.
Right.
I want to say move with Tom Brady. That's not the word to use. He slides in the pocket very well because Tom Brady can't move. But he slides in the pocket very well. That's the issue with Levis.
Speaking of sliding, Brady does slide well. And there was a video that came out last week where Levis was struggling with the electric slide. Just saying.
I knew where you were going.
But he tried. I mean,
I did tee that up for you. I don't know if it's a bad, but for me, my bad is as a defensive player, if I'm looking at the damn sideline to get a call and I get it right before the snap, I'm not ready. Period. I don't care how good a defensive player. If I got to go from you to them to snap, I have no time to get my mind ready for the formation, what they possibly could run, what I've gone through scout reporting. The defensive coaches have to give them a base call. I don't care what it is. Okay,
is Brad
guys.
White on the sidelines or in the?
Yeah, he's on the sidelines.
He's on the sidelines.
He's on the sideline. I don't care what it is. Guys, we're going to run base cover 3. If they go in, hurry up, base cover 3. If I'm able to give you a sign fast enough, then we'll adjust. But don't be freaking looking at me and they're already in formation, about to snap the ball, and now we got to go a split second. That is a bad to me because this ain't the damn first time.
It happened a few times in that game Saturday too.
This ain't the first year.
Well, I'm talking. You brought that up for Saturday. It happened 2 or 3 times Saturday.
Oh, it happened too many times.
Yeah.
The first half, it was ridiculous.
Yep.
Some of those big plays, like on 3rd and long, was because they didn't get the freaking call in.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
Unacceptable.
All right. So where were we at? JD, give me your bad from yesterday.
I think it goes without saying it was the kicking game. You can't miss a field goal and 2 extra points. And I know the 1 extra point was blocked, but if you're Ruffalo, why are you kicking it low? Like, kick it. It's 20 yards. Kick it up. Like, if you can't kick it high and get it through on an extra point, then you don't need to be kicking. He kicked it too low because the guy that blocked it never got through the line. So that's on Ruffalo. Poor's got to do a better job. Like that snap, yeah, it was a little inside, but he could have caught that snap. So the kicking game for me was the bad for
5 points
me in that game. Yeah, 5 points. 5 points right there. So they got to get that straightened out because we've had snap issues all year long too.
Yeah.
So
recurring theme there. Carrie, you're bad from.
So the bad, I agree with Terry, definitely, and Van. The clock in Levis's head, man. His checkdowns are too slow, and if he wants to play in the NFL, he's going to have to get quicker on those reads, those checkdown reads. You have to, and you can't hold the ball that long. Also,
I mean, the speed of the game,
right,
is
a little bit
crazy,
clearer.
a lot crazier. Yeah.
But my other bad is Mississippi State on paper plays a 3-2-6 defense. There is zero reason we shouldn't have run the ball some more against that type of defense, especially when you had C-Rod back, because again, with a 3-2-6, you should be able to get through the first and second lines before you should we're talking 5, 6, 7 yards at a clip, in my opinion, especially with somebody like having C-Rod back. But, they don't pay me anything even for this show. So I don't know. Again, I thought that was. All
right, I see what you did there.
Yeah,
I'll talk what contract negotiations.
Yeah, we really need to do that if I'm going to continue to be on here. But yeah, I thought that was bad. Mississippi, Ole Miss. See how now I'm doing it. One of the team in Oxford, Ole Miss, if they're running a 3-2-6, man, you got to run a ball. You utilize your run game. You got C-Rod, you got Smoke, you got Robinson, who also, he's a versatile player. He could run the ball, he could catch the ball. You can run different outs and all this kind of stuff. And they just weren't doing it. I was very confused on some of the play calling. So I don't know.
A White, Carrie knows more football than 90%.
I appreciate that.
I think actually
really
the stat line. Somebody on Twitter said 98%. So
well,
you're short
either way, I appreciate that. I really do. Yeah, I try.
Carter also says I agree with Van on the defensive calls. Yeah, biggest disappointment. Staying, not to beat a dead horse, but Van actually piggybacking off Carrie. I mean, fair. What was she? What would you say? I was segueing to Van because you mentioned player.
I need more money.
No, not that part.
Man, hey, why I'm following damn Carrie? She dropping dimes on here. Look, man. But Carrie, I'm gonna say this. Though, We did run the ball. We ran the ball almost 40 times.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
We ran the ball a lot.
And
we were not successful.
Would you say three?
3-2-6. Ole Miss runs a 3-2-6, and they're very small.
Yeah, 37 official rushes in that game.
Okay, all right.
But is that includes like
I think that includes
sacks?
That includes the 3 sacks, though.
But
it's still 34 carries.
30s. Yeah. Okay, fair. Go ahead, man.
The problem is they were aggressive. They ran a shit ton of run blitzes, and it got us a couple times. But we also got them a few times. When C-Rock came on the first play, they ran their base, and we shitted them down for 6 yards. They're like, we can't do that. We just can't sit back and base because they're about to run it down our throats. So I don't know, man. It's hard to wrap my head around this game because honestly, we had one bad quarter.
Yeah.
It was one bad quarter. And that's it. And we shot ourselves in the foot. We had
from that point on, yes, we did.
And it sucks the way it happens, but it is what it is. My bad is this. We are hurting. And I didn't think this would happen. We are hurting up the middle on both sides of the ball. Rodgers, I know this it's hard to say because we've had two really good ones. We had Q and we had Bully. We need an anchor in the middle that requires a double team. If you don't double team him, he's going to create havoc. We don't have a guy in the middle right now that you can single block his ass and wash him down the line of scrimmage. That's a problem. And on the other side of the field, Eli Cox is not Toth or Drake Jackson. Now, I know we put a lot on him or Fortner, but we are getting hurt in the middle. And the worst thing about this is I thought the inside linebackers of Wallace and Jackson was the next guy that should get all the playing time this year. I was wrong because when they are in the game, we're a little dysfunctional. When Jones got a little hurt, got a little dinged up, it went a little down. And I thought that wouldn't happen. So,
speaking of dinged up, did y'all catch Levis's dislocated finger? Good.
Yeah, I saw that on the sideline before they even came back to it. I was like, wait, that didn't look right because you just saw a flash of it, and they went back and showed it on the replay. And it was like, ooh.
It was accurate.
Yeah. Okay. Anything bad? I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but I guess ultimately, just we left some points on the table. In Mississippi, Ole Miss, I think, are legit top 15 based on the poll now. What, top 10? Did they
number 9?
Get number 9.
Yeah.
And we dropped to
12 and 13.
12 AP, I think.
Yeah.
I got a quick question for y'all.
Go.
What do y'all think about Jackson Dart performance?
It's a good question.
I don't think he played great. Like, he threw a couple balls up for grabs that just happened to get completed. He completed 52%.
Were those by design, though?
Yes.
Those are by
those over routes
passes
or by
design.
design.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking like when he's just about to get sacked, he just tossed the ball up there to get the ball out, and he had the one that was called complete, and they reviewed it, and it was overturned because he lost the ball going out of bounds, and then he completed one later in the game.
Right.
That's a legitimate call.
But he only completed 52% of his passes.
That's the thing I was gonna. Did it not seem like he was about 60 to 70%?
It seemed like he was better than he was. Right.
It was 50 the whole game.
Right.
He never was on hot. I'm like, this guy's on fire. And it was like, I looked at the first quarter stats, like he's like 50%. I'm like,
and then you compare that to Levis, who it didn't seem like he was playing great, but he completed 75% of his passes in the game.
Crazy.
It's weird how you can watch a football game and get a feeling of your two quarterbacks of how they're playing, and then you look at the stats and you're like,
Levis
that's
outplayed
not
him,
what I'm
period.
seeing with my own eyes on the TV.
Yeah. He did. Levis outplayed him. But those damn fumbles, or that fumble. Well, no, fumbles. We lost 2, right?
We lost 2, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That was Ole Miss. A game that shoulda, coulda, definitely shoulda, coulda, and we'd be undefeated. But Mississippi is they're gonna be a solid team, so that's not a bad loss. Not a bad loss. All right, let's look ahead. South Carolina up next. Spread came out 11. Terry, real quick, South Carolina. Any thoughts?
We're going to make it 8 out of 9 against South Carolina.
Cover the spread.
At that point, they got to secede again from the union. I just USC Junior. I got no love for them. Going back to the Lou Holtz and Steve Spurrier days, no love at all. Beat South Carolina, get to 5-1. That's a pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
That's still a pretty good run. We knew, like Van said, beginning of the year there were 4 games that were kind of make or break: Florida, the Mississippi schools, and Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
If you go 3-1 against those 4 schools, you're going to get to 10 wins.
The only person that's probably realistically should be upset at a 5-1 start halfway through the season would be Jay, only because his prediction. And no, I'm saying actually, in fairness,
right?
I can't argue his that prediction because we should have won yesterday. So But yeah,
and if that game against Ole Miss was enough to get you off of the bandwagon, you weren't here to begin with.
You had one foot in, or
like
on, or whatever.
And that's what a lot of diehard fans, and I hate to rail against fans, I get called out for that a lot. But if you watch that game, and you're like, I'm out on this team when there are 5 more winnable games out there, and that's what's getting you off, then you weren't really on to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fair.
But South Carolina, that's a dub.
Okay.
Yeah.
JD.
Yeah, I'm with Terry. It's going to be 8 out of 9, and if they come into that game angry over what happened at Ole Miss, it might not be an 11-point game.
That's what I'm counting on. I'm counting on a good reaction. If not, well, I don't know if reaction is the right word, but you know what I'm saying. Carrie, South Carolina.
Yeah, I agree with Terry. And Terry, I said that exact same thing to somebody this afternoon. I said, if you're off the wagon now, you were never a fan to begin with. So get off my football lawn. That's it. Yeah. 100%.
Right. And it's the same people that when basketball season, I know it's, not quite basketball season, they have a close game against somebody, then you're not all the way in.
Right. Yeah.
That's the point. You're looking for a reason at that point, to be miserable. Like I said, that person tweeting me like, oh, remember back in the 90s, let that hurt go.
Yeah, I do remember back in the 90s, and I don't care because it's 2022.
Right.
So,
so I talked him off the ledge, and then when we scored the touchdown to tie it at 19, he didn't respond.
Yeah.
Right.
Trust me, as somebody who sat in the stands in the 90s, I don't care.
Right. And then
I'm here now.
when we fumbled, he's gonna tweet at me. See? And I'm like,
see,
I told you. And I'm like, well, where were you for the touchdown? Like,
yeah, so
that's my point.
Niner Mike, that's patent pending as a shirt for me. So yeah, if I see that as a shirt, I'm coming looking for somebody. But in terms of South Carolina, Spencer Rattler is not a good quarterback, and I can't stand Shane Beamer in Beamer Ball. So
but he wears sunglasses and films TikToks.
I cannot stand Beamer Ball.
What's
and
TikTok?
Yeah, we're going to beat Sir Big Spur. He's the most involved mascot in sports, but he's going down.
Before I get to our man Anthony, who's hanging here in the chat, and I appreciate you, my brother. Pan, real quick, South Carolina.
Bring on the Cock Commanders. Bring them on. Bring them on. Hey, here's the great part about it.
Does that line have anything to do with this statement? Okay. All right. No. Sorry.
Here's the great thing about it. We get the chance to come back home. Yes. And BBN, we need you more than we needed you at Ole Miss, because now these boys saw what you did there. And now we want to continue it. And I think we get a good crowd, which I know is already sold out. If it's electric, it's gonna be similar to the Florida game, where you remember they had all those offsides. It's gonna be similar to that, but a bigger butt whipping. Yeah. It's gonna be the environment, but the ass whooping is gonna be more severe. It's gonna be the electric card right out of the shower. Pow, pow.
That's a 7:30 game. You said, Carrie,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
It's
because
7:30.
you were already
It's
moaning about
7:30.
how it's going to be late. You're going
I'm
to
gonna be
get home
tired.
and after midnight. You're going to
Yeah.
be tired Sunday, and I can't say no to you, Kevin. Then I'll be all tired Monday morning. All right, I know rinse and repeat.
Right.
Carter bringing it tonight. Cock magnets. All right, so Anthony brings up a very good question on is the OC Skang calling games to publicize Will Levis or win games? What say us?
Can I go first?
Yes.
Yeah, you do get that, but this because that was one of my questions I was going to throw at you guys. Is the hype machine, kind of going along with Anthony? The hype machine going into this season was sky high on Levis. Along that question, and has Levis lived up to this to this hype? Dan?
I think that's bullshit by Anthony, and I can say this because he's not here and not on the screen. So you bastard.
Oh, he's like, I'm not here. This is what he's doing.
Bring your lazy ass on the damn show.
I'll send you the link, Anthony.
Bring your lazy ass on the show. I don't think so.
Huh?
If he was trying to publicize Will Levis, we would throw the ball a whole lot more. Last game, I'm like complaining we didn't throw it enough. This game, he threw it less than what he threw it last game.
Well, here's the thing: if his clock management skills in his head was a little better, would he be throwing it more? Because that's one of the problems.
No, because this is what happened for me. Obviously, I'm not in the locker room, not with the coaches, not in the coach's office, but this is what happened to me.
Okay.
We ran the ball a lot in the second half, and I think we ran the ball a lot in the second half because we wanted to give our defense some rest. So if they're gonna go this up tempo, let's control the clock, give them less possessions. Right. If they go 3 and out, we pound their ass. Now we're gonna make them tired. Right. I think in the second half, we went, I don't want to say ultra conservative, we went more run game. And that to me was to play a team game. Because I keep saying it, our best guys on the field is the quarterback and the receivers. And they proved it yesterday. The best guys on the offense right now is the quarterback and the receivers. I'm sorry, C-Rod, right now, you're not the best player.
Give him a chance, right? But right now. Right.
Give the ball, put the ball in their hands, to me. Mm-hmm. Especially when people are, if you see the box they were loading with those, as Carrie was saying, with those DBs, playing 6 of them, they were in the box.
Got it. Okay.
Our offensive line isn't good enough to punish that 3-2-6 right now. Okay. They're just not.
All right. Terry, and answering Anthony's question.
I mean, Corey Price, when he was talking last week, we were averaging less than 3 yards a rush.
Yep.
We got to do something. I mean, I don't know.
For the record, Rodriguez averaged less than 4 yesterday.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So,
barely.
I think giving Will the opportunity to win, I don't think he's trying to publicize Will. I don't know the insides machinations, but we weren't running the ball at all. We got to do something. And when you got 3 wideouts like Robinson and Key and Barry and Brown,
they are special.
You better be doing what you can to put the ball in their hands.
When's the last time we've had like this? Not to. Well, actually, when's the last time we had this kind of a threesome?
Never. 3?
Really? 3
receivers?
Badass receivers.
3?
On the field. Right?
Name someone outside of Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State that's had 3.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could. You probably could get one of them, but I'm talking definitely Kentucky.
3 studs.
3 fucking studs.
I mean, in Anthony years, we did have, but they were not studs like this, though. I mean, these are bona fide. We did have Yeast and Keogh and Quentin McCord.
What was that when we had Keenan Burton? Who was that? Wasn't there a collection of really good receivers at that point too? Burton.
Not like
right,
this.
we're going.
If you can't remember it, not like this.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Actually, I just say that's a very good point. JD, same thing. Answering Anthony's question there.
Yeah, I mean, right now the best players on your offense are your quarterback and your receivers. I mean, Will Levis is on pace to throw for over almost 3,400 yards right now, and he's only throwing the ball on average 28 times a game. That to me doesn't seem excessive. You know, if he was up around 35, then maybe you can question, okay, what are we calling? What are we doing? But he's not even throwing the ball 30 times a game. So, but you want to get the ball into your best players' hands, right, and the players that have the best, maybe an easier time to make a big play or make a play for you. And right now, that's not the running backs. So you got to lean on who's has a better chance of making a play for you. And right now, that's Will Levis and the receivers.
Carrie, your take or your response to Anthony?
Yeah, no, I don't think he is. Well, okay, I'm going to give a really milquetoast answer here. Yes and no. I mean, I think he is trying to put Levis in a position to get drafted very high and get a contract and get a payday. And I think he you know, if he goes to the right team, he's really going to be effective in the NFL. But at the same time, I think he also wants to win games, because what coach doesn't want to win games? Like, who doesn't want to win games? Like, if you coach, you want to win games. I don't care where you're coaching, you want to win. So you're going to put your players in position to win. So yes, I do think he's trying to win games. But at the same time, he's also trying to position Levis to get, you know, a high draft pick.
No, that's fair. Okay. All right, I lied. 10 o'clock's not realistic because I got a few more things to throw at you. And just bear with me. Carter, thanks for hanging out with us tonight, and I appreciate your comments. I think this comes back to Carrie's suggestion on running the ball. Second half, go into 12 and 13 and run the damn ball. Yeah. But
that's crazy.
What?
It's crazy.
Wait a minute. What's crazy?
They have only, in that whole game on Saturday, they had one fucking quarter where they passed the ball more than they ran. And guess what quarter that was?
First?
The fourth.
Fourth.
Because we were down.
Yeah, we were down. That totally makes sense.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Look, first quarter, 5 passes, 11 rushes. Second quarter, 5 passes, 10 rushes. Third quarter, 5 passes, 9 rushes.
What was the fourth quarter stat line?
It was 9-7.
9. Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. All right, Carter. I don't know. You didn't score points there. Chris Roy got dinged up some in the right rib region. I don't know. I didn't. If he got hurt, I didn't.
Doesn't he have a rib history too? Did he have a rib history a year or two ago?
Yeah. Going back, I was mentioning. I know Keaton Burton. Pardon me. I know Glenn. Is that Holt?
Yeah.
Who's
Yep.
that?
Yeah.
And then what's the Johnson?
Is that Stevie Johnson?
Stevie Johnson.
Stevie Johnson.
Stevie. Oh yeah. Duh. Stevie.
They
all, and right.
I was there.
All played in the league. That's okay. There you go. That might be
okay.
I knew that that threesome hashtag the word of the night.
Anthony's reaching.
I don't think so. I'm
Anthony,
old enough to remember. I mean, but
Anthony brings up they all play in the league. They had a stint just as short as mine.
man, you are always analytical and not situational.
What? Okay. See, I'll get your ass on Wednesday.
Yeah, I feel y'all need to let this go.
Save that shit up.
Cue it up. Save all these. All right, we talked. All right, let's look. Yesterday, college football weekend 5. Terry, what jumped out at you? What was a takeaway? One of your takeaways from yesterday?
Road wins are tough to come by.
Fair.
You know, we've seen that, and you know, I think you said this before we went on. You know, your expectation is we should not lose to Ole Miss, and my answer to that sentiment is why.
Why?
Why should we not lose to Ole Miss? I mean, yeah, we were a better team, but it's this whole expectation of we're not Alabama yet, we're not Georgia yet. We've got this process we've got to go through. So
when are we gonna stop saying yet, though? Aren't we?
Win 10 games in the regular season.
This
10 in the regular. Okay, no, that's a fair That's a fair statement.
Right.
Wins
And
in, right?
and we keep trying to microwave when this is a slow cooking process.
No, but we should be halfway there after yesterday. Fans,
You know,
just saying.
but you know, you just look around college football. Kansas is having a resurgence of
Great
resurgence.
story.
Like
Great story.
Resurgence. Where's the re coming from? Re means again.
they're having an insurgence.
Well, I mean, technically, they were 5-0 in 2009, so I would call it a resurgence.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was Big Boy's team.
Was that Weiss?
No,
No,
Mangini.
Mangini.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mangini?
No,
Yeah.
Mangini.
No.
no, it was Man something, but it wasn't Mangini.
It's Mangini.
Is that what it would? Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Was
big guy. Yeah, but it's a great story. You know, Kansas and somebody put out a video of their home crowd, and every school is a football school, and the football team is good. You know, the crowd was there. The crowd was lively. Good for them.
No, it's not Mangini. I gotta find him. It's not Mangini.
Well, thank you, A. Dot White. But we're trying to skip steps, and you can't skip steps. If
Okay.
you skip steps, the SEC shows up shortly thereafter. Every team that goes from 2 wins to 10 wins in a 2-year period, the SEC, the
That's
NCAA
fair.
shows up.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
You know,
Mangino.
Man,
It was Mark Mangino. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mangini,
that's my thing.
damn vile.
Tomato.
Yeah,
But
shit.
again, watch more college football besides just Kentucky, and you'll see other teams have to do the same thing that we do.
Stop telling me what to do.
I'm not telling you. I'm telling other people. Watch other games.
I'm kidding.
You know, I get. You know, that's the thing.
You're one of the few people that could tell me what to do. I do.
Well, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I'm just tired of Go Cat 69 saying if we turn the ball over like this, we won't win. Well, damn it, that's not a Kentucky thing. Like we got to complete some passes,
We won last year, turn the ball
Go
over.
Cat 69. Oh,
like
get it.
or whatever, you know, or people that we've got to do X, Y, Z, and you go to the numbers like Van did. We've been running more than we're passing. What are you talking about?
Is it really somebody? Is it really Go Cat 69?
I don't know, but you know, like we're just talking about. It feels like this. Well, look at the numbers.
Right.
Fuck your feelings. We are running the ball more than we're passing the ball. I don't care how it feels.
Alive at
Or-
Carrie and
10:04.
TB are on one. I
Or
love
you know,
it.
it feels like Will Levis isn't completing the ball. He completes 70% of his passes. It feels like Jackson Dart is carving us up, and he's not completing 50% of his passes. Stop with the it feels. Look at the numbers. That's all I'm saying. Get your feelings out and look at the numbers. I can give you the link to the stat broadcast. You can look at the official game stacks will give you.
That's what I'm looking at right now.
That's what I'm saying.
This
Give you the numbers.
panel, this round table has been electric. You know
I mean-
what would be cool is if I queued up the slide song and you all got up and started dancing to the electric slide.
I mean, it could be way worse. We could have Harsin as our coach. Have you seen Auburn? Because they're terrible.
Wow.
That guy should have his
Yeah.
stuff thrown in the street today. They are
It's gonna
absolutely
happen.
awful.
It's gonna happen. I don't know who else is not. JD, did you get to say the takeaway from this weekend or not? I don't know.
No, not yet.
Okay,
But
go ahead.
I think there's several
Whatever. Go.
several football coaches that their seat is getting hotter and hotter. Harson's one of them. Satterfield, they lost to BC this weekend.
Ooh.
You
Neil
know,
Brown, man.
Neil
Damn.
Brown, he's probably on his way out.
Mhm.
Drinkwitz, like I know they showed up and they played well against Georgia, but like they haven't been great this year. So, I think there's and we talked about it right at the beginning, or I think before we came on, Wisconsin just fired their coach.
Mhm.
You know, so there's a lot of coaches. If you just watch this weekend of football, whose seat has gotten to the point where they might want to get off that seat and probably go somewhere else.
Hey, if you think you got it bad, someone's always got it worse, right?
Mhm.
And we don't have it bad. It was just not a win yesterday. All right. Any other takeaways? Carrie, did you say
I'll say, you know what? Shout out to the University of Connecticut. 1,000 days since 2019 that they beat an FBS team, and they finally did it last night. So you know what? Props to them. Took 1,000 days, but they finally beat an FBS team.
1,000
But
days.
we suck.
Right.
We
Right.
are horrible.
Right.
How
Yeah.
can we be? I mean, how dare
5-1? How dare we?
How dare we?
5-1? Call. We taking a step backwards. How can you proceed forward when you lose a fucking game at Ole Miss? We take a step back with freaking 5-1. How dare you guys do this? You suck. Stupid.
Losing to Ole Miss is not doesn't. I didn't lose sleep losing to Ole Miss. It's the fact that we just left points on the board. We should have won that game.
It was frustrating.
Yeah, it was a frustrating.
That's what it was. It was frustrating.
But I still love my team. Still love my team. Carrie, basketball or football? Carrie?
Oh, football. Just not even I don't even have to hesitate. Football.
Yeah, she sat through fans' games.
And his games too.
Anthony's game.
Oh, that's a good point. Sorry, you're right. All right. Anything? I'm trying to think of anything. There was definitely more from yesterday.
Georgia Tech. I'm gonna say something. I was high on Georgia Tech. They lose their coach, and they freaking beat Pitt on the road. I said Georgia Tech will go to a bowl game. I'm like, they can win 6 games. I can see 6 games out of Georgia Tech. And before this game, I was like, hell no, they have no chance of winning 6 games. They showed something. They showed something this week to go to Pitt and beat Slovis too because he was healthy.
Here's what I'm gonna ask you. Let me see if I can cue this up. Well, I don't want to cue it up. It'd take too long. Ohio State and Rutgers. There was Ohio State's winning. I think it was 49-10 at the point.
It was 49-10.
49-10.
5 minutes to go or something like that.
And what I, as a fan, considered a bitch move, where you fake a punt. Ohio State winning 49-10 fakes a punt. And yes, I'm rooting for. I have 0 issues with that penalty.
I'd have done the same thing.
Exactly.
If I was that defensive player.
I mean, what is there heat there between? Is it because
there is now?
Well, definitely
there is now.
I mean, but what? I guess why would you do that, Van?
I fucking hate Greg Schiano. I got a personal vendetta against Greg Schiano. We can talk about it the other day. I am glad they did that to his ass.
Really?
Now, I don't like they did it to the players because that sucks.
Him, but not.
But to him, yeah.
For the players, yeah.
I didn't see the sideline reaction. Was Ryan Day excited about it, or did they run that shit on him? Because I know some situations where
that wasn't a botch play.
Was it a thing where you told your punter if you see it?
No, not even that.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean. If the punter sees that he can run for that first down, he goes. Yeah. But in that situation, you don't do that. Like just kick the fucking ball.
Exactly. Even with your fist.
He does. I've seen it before. I on a high school play did it where I fumbled the hole on a field goal on purpose because I wanted to run the fake. I've seen shit happen. I wonder what was the reaction with Ryan Day. Did he get him in his face like, you dumbass, we don't do this? Or was he high-fiving?
No, I didn't see that he did anything in the highlights. I heard
because a brawl started right after that. So
kind of. I mean, Schiano got in Ryan Day's face and they were yelling back and forth. But from what I heard, the punter chose to do that on his own.
Really?
Yes, that's the word on the street that was going around.
Wow.
That the punter was the one who chose to do it.
Players do that shit. I promise you.
Wow.
Especially players. Look.
So they go into business for themselves, is what you're saying? Do they?
As a punter, who's your backup? You probably don't have one.
Right.
So what the coach can do? Make you run a little bit extra? Well, I don't run anyway, so I might need to run a little bit. Honestly, as a punter, what real punishment he can't suspend you the next game because he ain't got a fucking bag up.
No. Yeah, but I still think it's not the right.
Guys do that shit. I've seen it a lot.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So where we at on I got to get your all's take. This past week, I can't even try to pronounce his last name. Terry, I bet you can do it. Tua's last name is what?
Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa.
I just say Tua. I don't say.
Oh no, we just say Tua.
Tagovailoa.
Yeah. So
if it's more complicated than Brown, I don't do it, and that's what I tell folks. Like, if it ain't Brown, then
Yeah, hell yeah. That hit. His reaction. No, I'm not doing any video or anything. That was. It was, yeah. I think I said it before the show. It was scary. It was sickening as a fan just to see that. But then, actually, I did not see the video from last Sunday, when he got potentially concussed. He's wobbly. I didn't see that until they started, Thursday night happened, and then everything just kind of. Van, as a former player, all that. Where do you? I mean, is Tua? Should he even be on the field the rest of this season?
And as a guy who's had concussions, look, I'm not sure. I honestly owe my life to Bill Curry, Al, and Sue Green. They took me out. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You had 2 here. You're not playing in spring, and we'll see what happens the next year. All right. Wow. You can pass protocol with a concussion. That's not
by answering 3 questions, where you're at.
It's a little more intuitive than that, but I know. Yeah, that's kind of joke, but they can. It's more than just a question. It's your reaction to the questions, your I don't want to say your body language, so to speak. There's more to it than just a question. You can pass protocol. Yeah. The issue is they played on Sunday. You're not coming back on Thursday, period. That's one thing. Second of all, after one, you are more susceptible to the next one.
Right.
So, and the crazy part about it to me is you have a capable backup. Even if you want to be selfish, you got a guy who was a first-round pick who was their starter franchise quarterback before he got hurt. You got a capable backup. Let him prepare for the Thursday night game, and then Tua comes back with a week plus for the next game. So that to me is what didn't make sense, because in all actuality, I promise you he passed protocol. That doesn't mean you should play him, though.
Right.
And a short week, you definitely shouldn't play him. There's some guys who have an ankle tweak, they won't play on a short week because he's not fully healthy. So why would you play a guy with a brain injury on a short week?
Yeah. JD, jump in.
I mean, same thing. And when he took that hit on Thursday, like the reaction what his hands did was that's not a normal reaction to being knocked out. Like you going stiff and curling in, those are more normal. But your fingers doing things that you only do if you're possessed, like that's not normal. And that was what was scary to me, because now you start thinking about more serious brain injuries than just
possessed, as in like a demon,
like The Exorcist. Okay. Like now you start thinking about more serious things other than just a concussion. Brain bleeds and stuff like that.
Right.
And just the fact that he was playing on Thursday after what happened to him the previous Sunday, it's bullshit. That was not a back injury. Anybody who watched that video knew that was not a back injury. And for Miami and the organization and the doctors to say, yeah, okay, you can go ahead and play this next Thursday. You're good.
How much of that, though, Van?
Everybody on that team, that staff, and that organization failed Tua.
Mm-hmm. Did Van, before I get to Carrie and Terry's take, did Tua fail Tua? Did he have any input? Could he have been in a position? He's a starting quarterback. Is he campaigning because he feels in his heart, in his well-being, that he could play? Is he potentially not overriding, but I guess he could have overridden, but you know what I'm saying? He has to have a say in this, right? Mute.
You're on mute.
Mute, brother. Yeah,
he has no say. Back in the day, and before they started this
Not
protocol
with
thing,
even the Players Association right now, how prominent that is. He
No.
doesn't have a say.
players have no say, because what the Players Association and NFL agreed is we have an independent doctor that would assess the situation and give you the yes or no. But someone put out the greatest tweet ever. Is he really independent when the NFL hires him?
True.
I mean, it's not the team doctor. With a team doctor can slide you like, okay, all right, with Coach Parcells on my ass, he's got to play. All right, he's going to play. So it's still independent, but still, players are going to look. Players want to play. Period.
I mean,
That's
he's competitive.
my
He's a starter.
I want to do my job. If you clear me and I feel halfway decent, I'm playing.
Because
I'm invincible.
One, you think you can play. You're confident you can play.
Yeah. So, the doctors and the team physicians and the independent guy are in place to save the player from himself. They say to you, save the player from himself, because every player wants to keep on playing.
Right.
Just
Carrie, yeah, real quick.
So I may say, I think I'm going to say something a little bit controversial here. Maybe. But, so we have all these studies of CTE. We're trying to make things safer. These guys practice with the shells on the helmets and that kind of thing. But honestly, at this point, you have to take into consideration the big business of sportsbook betting and fantasy football. And what happens when Tua doesn't play? The line changes and fantasy lineups. That whole thing changes, right? But if he same thing if he plays. If he plays, he doesn't play. So, I'm going to say it. I think, honestly, sportsbook and fantasy possibly had a little bit to do with it. Maybe. I'm not saying it did or didn't. I'm not saying, and I'm not trying to say doctors are on the take or anything like that. I'm not trying to imply that. But it's a big business with the NFL. Huge. Like billions of dollars. Huge. So, yeah, that's my take on it.
All right, Terry, you're to it.
I mean, we can blame the Dolphins. We can blame the NFL. But it's us, the fans. We demand sacrifice from our athletes. We love the stories of this guy playing on a broke knee. This guy had a hole in his heart. This guy's arm was dangling and he gutted through it. And so now we've been doing that for the better part of the 20th century into the 21st century. So now we understand about brain injuries. Now we want to clutch the pearls and say, why would you do this, NFL? Because you're not going to stop watching, right? Like, you're not going to stop, right? We demand this sacrifice from players. And if Tua doesn't play on Thursday, that dude's soft, right? Then we get the hockey guys talking about, well, so-and-so played the Stanley Cup Finals, all this. And, the ESPN, the sports reporters and up close and all that stuff not on anymore. So we don't get this, what happens when these dudes stop playing. They're 40 and they can't tie their shoes.
Right.
They're 50, they don't know where they are. They're 60 and they're in a wheelchair. We don't care. We see the retired players, the Terry Bradshaws and those guys.
When you say we don't care, who's we?
Fans in general. Okay. Fans in general. We demand our players sacrifice. We don't like it when they take games off. We don't like it when they fight through injuries. If somebody gets their bell rung, well, when I played for such and such a high school, I fought through this. It was dumb then. It's dumb. It is dumb. A lot of it has to do with what Carrie's saying with betting and fantasy. And it's a big part of, we do not see these athletes as humans. That's part of it. So don't clutch, spare me. Oh, did you see Tua? Yeah, we see that every week in the NFL. Something happens to somebody that we're like, oh my God. But we ask them to fight through it, but don't fight through the head stuff.
That's a great point, Terry. I think
that's on us.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to, I've seen bad
not
injuries.
all of us.
I'm going to keep watching.
Yeah.
I haven't stopped watching.
Yeah, but you're not one of those fans that mentality is that once your playing career is done, you're like a horse we'll take you around out back and put a bullet in you.
I mean,
Not to
you
be-
can see it in the Kentucky fan base when the guys stop playing basketball, they go to the NBA. I don't care about them
Yeah.
because we're just using it for that purpose. We don't see them as
Mhm.
anything more than entertainment. I've tweeted about it and people get
Mhm.
mad.
Yeah.
We're a step or two away from the Roman Coliseum. We demand blood sacrifice. We
Yeah.
demand you play through injuries so I can bet, so I can gamble, so I can cheer on my team. That's our demand. So spare me. Why was Tua doing that? Because that's what we want. The
That's what-
NFL does what we want.
Yeah.
That's how they make their money.
Sad,
Sorry.
but true. No, great takes. I'm going to stop saying I'm going to do my best to shut this down by 10 o'clock because I can't do it. One is that it's great company. I don't want to leave you guys. I mean, all right, but I am going to leave you guys very soon because it is 10:23. All right, we are at. I'm trying to think anything from this past weekend that kind of jumped out at me.
The men's soccer team is number
say
5 in
preach
the
it, go.
country
Yeah.
and still undefeated. So I know nobody cares. And I say nobody, I'm speaking generally.
Yeah.
But there are ranked teams on campus
Mhm.
other than, what Stoops is doing.
And
love
shout out to
Stoops doing.
you and Van, like holding it down, tweeting out the stuff from all those other teams.
Exactly.
I mean,
So-
look at my wall. That is a signed gymnastics poster. I've got basketball. I've got softball. When I say all cats everything, I mean it. I
you
mean
do.
that shit. If you want to be a football fan, that's fine. You want to be a basketball fan, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But don't say I'm all cats everything, and I say, hey, the soccer team won. Nobody cares.
Niner Mike, appreciate you, brother, for hanging
Niner
out.
Mike, baby.
Yeah,
Hey,
this is
tomorrow night, baby.
I'm my Niner. Yeah, there you go. It's these cats, pun intended, and that make this show so good, so fun to do this. I'm a fan, and to be able to hang out with who I consider friends to talk on a Sunday night. Ending the weekend, I have a day job. I'm an IT guy, so tomorrow morning I'm gonna get up and I'll work from home, and then my week begins. But get to hang out with these cool people, and I got a former player on here who knows what the fuck he's talking about, and we got Anthony White who's in the sidelines giving us his takes too, and Terry's on fire. Everyone's on fire tonight.
Yeah.
What was it, Coach Guy? What was that about? Coach Guy, why is he saying that? Did we make a comment about Coach? Well, he's going Coach Guy Morris ? So I don't know why he
Was he doing the Kansas one or Kentucky?
Morris went to Baylor, didn't he?
He went to Baylor.
Baylor.
Yeah, I know, but that's the
Baylor,
only thing.
yeah.
That's the only question that was about. A
okay.
coach.
Unless he's talking about, then he just passed away.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Maybe that's what that's about.
Yeah,
We touched on it, didn't we?
We
I
did.
think
I don't know.
it's been over a week.
I'm on so much stuff.
Yeah, I know. I think it's been
Oh,
around. I think
excuse us, Terry. You're on so much stuff.
He's just hanging out with guys from the Daily Show. Like
everyone right now,
we're just the little guys with Terry. He's got these big stars on with him.
Bow down to Terry.
Kevin, Terry's like, why you got me on the bottom of the screen? I believe on the top.
Yeah. All right. From this point on, that's the way the show will finish. I don't care who gives their shot. It's all about Terry tonight. I'll start with.
You think you're hurting my feelings?
No, I know I'm not hurting your feelings. You're
He's got a cornfield in the
superstar,
backyard. What does he have? Gosh.
I'll take I'll sit at the bottom. I don't know if you all see what I see, but I'm down here with Carrie. So, all right. Final shots. Terry, let me start with you. Go.
What final shot?
Yeah.
The soccer team was my final shot. Just giving love to all the other programs. I'm out of shots for now.
All right. I don't know if the wife wants to hear that line, but all right. So
You stay out of my business, Kevin Hale.
I'm just trying to.
You stay out of my business.
I'm trying to keep the business going. That's what I'm trying to do. JD, give me some love. What's your final shot, brother?
The big news that everybody just keep Florida and South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, Fort Myers, Sanibel, all those people that are in those areas, and your thoughts, your prayers. If you can help out, whatever you can. We vacation in the Fort Myers area. We love it down there. We're not going to be able to go back for at least a couple of years now because of how devastated that area is. So just keep everybody that's in those areas affected. My wife's grandfather lives in Naples. My cousin has a house down there. I've got cousins in Hernando Beach. So everybody's good. So, but there's a lot of people who aren't. So those people need all the good thoughts, all the good vibes, everything that we can give them.
Yeah, it's just not about us, guys. There's other people out there that live their life. And hey, but I don't know, what was the award? Not to downplay Florida and the hurricane, but Terry, I know you know this. We've got a fucking coach on our campus who represents the school and the state in a time of emergency. He got some award recently where it's like the first. Yeah,
he was recognized on the Senate floor or something.
It's something to that,
by Mitch McConnell of all people. So
and that's the one thing, as we talk about what Coach Cal is or isn't. The one thing he's always been about is this servant leadership, and from. Hello, Mr. President, this is DeMarcus Cousins. He makes those guys show up and do things. They're having the blue-white game in Pikeville this year.
Yeah.
And you can say it's all PR. And, before he got here, I believed it. But at some point, no one is that good.
No.
Right? He's done things that other coaches have the opportunity to do, and they haven't. Right? So give him his props. I'm glad he's our coach. We've got some great coaches. I think it was the Cats Paws that talked about, we kind of take for granted that Coach Cal is a good fit for basketball. Well, Mark Stoops is damn good for football.
We've got
Coach Lawson for softball. Like, we have a stable of coaches, top to bottom. I think I would compare to any team or any athletic department in the country, and the numbers bear that out. I know nobody cares, but we did finish 9th in the Directors' Cup standing as far as overall athletic departments. So we're doing something right with the culture in Lexington, Kentucky. Go Cats.
Go Cats. Carrie, before you freaking hit end, because I think 10:30 is your definite hard stop, and we're almost there. Final shot, dear.
So this is a little bit old, but I think it's worth it for people to check out. Walt Wells is the EKU head coach, and he basically died. He was dead of a heart attack in his office, and Sports Illustrated did a really fabulous article about how the athletic trainer saved him. They had a charged, defibrillator that helped to save him before the ambulance got there, and it's definitely worth your time to check that out and read it, just about his having the heart attack and then being brought back, and then just the kind of whole experience with the athletic trainers and all of that kind of thing. And he's back on the sidelines now, coaching EKU football. So I would highly, highly recommend. It's a good read to check that out.
Good stuff, Carrie. Yeah. Van, final shot, brother.
Carrie, I was going to say something else, but I'm going to start with this. Athletic trainers are the unsung hero of all sports. I'm telling you, I'm one of them who was saved by him. So they need to get a little more light, because all the tape job, all the crap that they have to take from the players along is them and the managers. The equipment managers got to do all that locker room crap before the game on the road are amazing. So that's kudos.
Yeah, good deal.
But my shot is this. How much money does Jimbo Fisher make?
You need about a $10 million a year. Yeah.
He's almost at saving level.
Yeah.
Did they not just lose this weekend?
Convincingly.
Don't they have like an unbelievable amount of 5-star recruits coming in next season?
There's a whole bunch on there this season.
Yeah, they had the best recruiting class in the country this past year.
Yeah.
So I think it's more than just the recruits, man. They are those wheels. there's a one lug nut is off right now. It is dangerous. They are in a bad situation. This could get really ugly for Jimbo.
It's gonna get ugly against Bama.
That's next up, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that
it
the game?
is.
Which
I
actually I saw
his buyout though is $95 million.
Yes, it is.
It's freaking ridiculous.
He's gonna get boat raced. Saban is gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
So,
but ESPN game or the game day crew is going to be in Kansas. Just saying. But
interesting.
Yeah.
So, for all you people who are all about, because all I heard during this offseason, our recruiting class is subpar after this last one. All recruit. What is Stoops doing? Why you?
Another one of those coaches on the hot seat.
Trust me, and they can buy his ass out. You don't understand how much money A&N has.
Yeah, people, the audio. I got to remind myself to do this because I show comments and then I do an audio only. U.S. Cat fan Paul Feinbaum reported that Texas ATM boosters are looking into Jimbo's buyout.
And I think they're still paying Kevin.
What year
Sumlin,
is this? Is this fifth year?
Wasn't last year Sumlin, I think?
Was it?
He finally came off the books because they paid him his entire time in Arizona.
But Carrie, no though. But Jimbo was like still making like $7 million, and they were paying Tumlin like $4 million. So they got the cash if they wanted.
How much of Jimbo's like reputation does he owe to Jameis Winston for that national title?
He was already sitting pretty as a coordinator. He's
but I mean as a head coach, because I think he's kind of underachieved at quite a few seasons with the talent that he's had on his teams. Like this year, for example, you bring in the best recruiting class in the country, and
I will just say the two of them are linked like Dwayne Wade and Tom Crean.
Wow, this is the interesting to me. This is the part that people don't talk about. Jimbo Fisher is supposed to be a quarterback guru. How many great quarterbacks has he recruited?
Great. Oh,
just one. He's only had since he's been a head coach and been the guy who makes the final decision on recruits. He couldn't bring one to Florida State besides that one guy, and he has not brought one to Texas A&M. Texas A&M has had a good quarterback since Johnny Football, and that was Kevin Sumlin.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He sucks as a recruiter for quarterback, which is really weird.
All right, guys, 10:35, and we probably could go another 30 if we wanted to. Round of shots, doing it on this Sunday night. Terry, shout out. What do you got coming up show-wise this week?
I don't know.
You got another late night comedian on, or you gonna throw in our face?
Hey man, Roy Wood Jr. was hilarious.
Set the bar.
Was great. Catch it if you can. It was great. He's a Cubs fan. I got a shout out for my wife on there, so thank you, Roy, for that. But getting ready, looking forward to South Carolina. Not quite sure how that's going to work out with guests. Like I said, I just kind of show up and do my thing. But every Wednesday, you can catch us on Roku and YouTube and wherever else you get fine podcasts. So
probably not on Sling, right? Damn it!
Got to see how the money's working, right?
Yeah. JD, shout out to you and your crew.
Yeah, Religiously Kentucky. Next episode will be out tomorrow. We just recorded it today, so I'm on number 2.
Appreciate you.
Yeah,
man.
Tomorrow afternoon it'll be out.
Carrie, what episode was today?
340. JD's a lightweight. This is 3 for me. And that's 2 with alcohol and 1 without. But yeah, no, we just recorded 340 today of GBS, and that's everywhere good podcasts are free.
Appreciate you, Carrie. Van, what you got going on Wednesday? It's just the two of you.
Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That jackass who's on the bottom of the screen posting all day, me and him, we're going fisticuffs, virtual. You will get a beat down Wednesday, 9 p.m.
Tune in.
Standard Time.
Those two are smooth. All right, for my friends tonight, Kevin Hale doing it tonight. Round of shots on all the podcast platforms. The audio will drop sometime on Monday evening. Terry, JD, Carrie, Van, Anthony, U.S. Cat fan. What was the other one who was giving me?
Niner Mike. Mike's
Carter.
great.
Yeah. Niner. Appreciate everyone hanging out. South Carolina. We all covering the spread. I think we're all feeling that, right? We're gonna.
They got us a seed, baby.
Okay.
If we don't cover the spread, we suck, and I can't believe we 5-1. We can't be ranked in the top 10.
And we'll stop doing these podcasts because we'll be talking. We'll just be talking out of our ass.
Stoops needs to be fired.
Stoops needs to be fired. That'd be
Top
the only
Commander's
topic.
going down.
All right, guys. Round of shots. Bidding everyone a good Sunday night. Great week. Go Cats. Peace out. Take care.
Go Cats.